everyone! So in today's video, I am going to talk to you about something that I think everyone should set up in their garden, and that is my two different irrigation systems that I use. So I set up my first one, I think about 2 years ago. Prior to that, it just seemed like something that was so overwhelming of a task. I'd never set up any sort of irrigation system before. Any video I watched, it seemed like they really knew what they were doing and I had no idea. But as soon as I got my first irrigation kit and kind of laid out all the pieces, it was so simple to set up. So I highly, highly recommend it. Not only can you set it up to water your garden automatically every morning so that maybe if you don't have the time of the day to go out and do it, you don't have to worry about it. But also for me, it is a bit of a relief whenever I am gone, either for even just a weekend or longer, an entire week or two. I know that my garden is getting watered, and that at least takes a little bit of the anxiety I feel being away from my garden away. So if you're looking for a sign to set up drip irrigation and it's been something that you think might be too complicated, trust me, it's a lot simpler than you might think that it's going to be. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to talk through the different products that I use. I'll kind of give you my feedback on what I've learned over the last 2 years, because there are some things that I wish I could change. And I can if I want to invest the time, so I might do that this year. I'm not really sure. I'm not gonna set it up today because I don't wanna set up my drip until I have all my containers in place. Now my raised beds, I can't move them, but all of my smaller pots, I tend to move around the deck and have a different setup every year. So I'm gonna wait till I get all of my plants potted up outside in their positions before I start setting up the drip. That way I know where each of my drips need to go. So with that, I will link down below past videos where I've shown myself actually setting it up in case you want to watch that, but I will also record myself once I start to set it up this year. Now we are lucky enough to have hose faucets on both the front and the back deck. The last place I gardened at did not have a hose hookup, so I had to hook a hose up to the sink inside and bring that in and out every day. So I am very lucky that we have that. But if you are gonna have an irrigation system set up, it's still very likely you're gonna want to also use a hose. So you wanna find something that can split your faucet into 2 or even more separate faucets. So I just have this hose splitter here. I got, I think, a 2-pack on Amazon because I know I have a second one of these. Basically, one is dedicated to my drip system and the other is dedicated to my hose. I pretty much leave all of these on and open during the season. That way I can just turn my hose on and off. You also need to have water flowing through or else your drip irrigation won't actually emit any water. But you can also just move these little handles and that'll turn the faucets on or off. I forget which one is which. I think down is off and up is on so that water flows through. But like I said, just found these on Amazon. They've lasted 2 years. I do bring them inside every winter. I take everything off of the faucets and then cover the faucets up. But so far, so good. So this will be year 3 for them. So first, definitely want to look into a splitter. Next is going to be some sort of timer, because if you're going to have a drip irrigation system set up, you're probably doing that so that it can water it automatically. And you're gonna need some sort of timer to do that with. So the very first timer I used was this one, again, just from Amazon. This is called Mr. Timer. It's really easy to use. Again, it might seem like overwhelming at first, but once you start to look through and start to use like the program on here, you see how easy it really is to set up. I take these off in the winter, take out the batteries, and then put new batteries in each year. But you can basically, I'll see if you can see this on the screen, you basically just toggle through. So right now it's off. I could turn it to on if I wanted to, but it's not set up to a hose, so why would I do that? You wanna make sure that like the time is set correctly. You can start the water whenever you want there, how often you're going to, or how long you want it to run, how often you want it to run. And then you can also, with every timer I've had, choose a manual run so that sometimes what'll happen is we'll get the automatic watering in the morning, but it's a really hot day, so I need to run it again, and I can do that manually. Then last year I did a timer upgrade, and I got the Beehive timer, which as you can see here also has 2 faucets. So I actually have 2 different drip systems set up to this timer. I first got this last year. It's very similar. You have the clock, the start time, how long, how often, And right now, obviously, it is set to off. So I had this set up last year with one of my drip systems here, the other one here. This one ran first, this one ran right after it. Again, super easy to set up. This one is more expensive. In fact, let me look at, I have the tabs pulled up here with the price differences. So the Beehive, this one was $79.99, and the reason I got it was because it can connect to your smartphone, so I can control it from my phone. Whether I'm inside the house or in a completely different state, I can run it through my phone, which is great. You have to get the Wi-Fi hub. That's what allows you to connect this to Wi-Fi and then control the timer from your phone. You can also see like how long it ran. I think it tells you like the moisture levels in the soil that it detects from. I don't know what it actually detects from. Maybe it just detects from how much rain there's been, but it will give you more information. But I like to just see that, yes, it did run. And then if I need to do it manually, I can do that from my phone. So the Wi-Fi hub is $35. So 80 plus 35 is what it costs for this system. For the Mr. Timer, which again doesn't have any sort of hookup to your phone, this one is, well, it says $58.97. I swear I got this cheaper. Maybe it was cheaper 2 years ago, but this one on its own will be cheaper. So kind of just go with whatever one fits your price range or whichever one has the features that you want. I had another one that I got from Amazon that I gave away to a friend because I don't need 3 timers, and that one worked fine. Like, I've never really come across a timer that didn't work as it was supposed to, but I just really love the Beehive for the app. So next then is getting your actual irrigation systems. So there are 2 different irrigation systems that I use. I'll kind of talk a little bit about the components in each, but I think I have another video going more into the specifics and showing off the different pieces, so I'll link that down below. But the very first irrigation kit that I started with was the WaterWise system from Proven Winners, and that is because Laura from Garden Answer recommended it. So that is what I got. One of these kits, it does say can water 10 containers. Now I use this in the front with my raised beds, which are they containers? Technically, are they maybe larger than what is recommended or what they thought when they were creating this product? Maybe, but it's worked in my raised beds. So with this one, I think I used 1 kit, and then I had to order additional pieces as I wanted to extend it based on whatever pieces I needed. And again, once you open this up, I feel like it's really, really easy to use. So it comes with this tubing, and then you basically just cut the tubing where you need to and then put in these little drip emitters. So it's very easy to set up. It also comes with like the piece that connects to the timer with the backflow filter so that water isn't going backwards into your hose or into the faucet. So all those pieces come together, and I think starting with a kit, especially for your first time, is going to be a lot easier than trying to like go to Home Depot, or you can even order these pieces separately, but like trying to figure out what you need. Start with a kit, you'll start to realize how the different components work, and then if it is something where you want to do a completely customizable setup, you can do that as well. So again, one of these can do 10 containers, and then you can connect 3 of these at the maximum recommended to 1 faucet. So like 1 drip run, I guess, you shouldn't do more than 3 kits all tied together. I think I have like 1.5 in my front garden based on the additional pieces that I've ordered since getting that original set. And that's what I leave out all winter. So this will be the 3rd winter it's been through, 2nd winter. I need to just test it and run it and make sure there's no leaks. But again, that's really easy to just snip the tubing, put some new tubing in, put in a new emitter. I think I maybe replaced like 2 emitters last year and everything was fine. So that was the first one I started with. And then I found the Carpathian, what is this, Happy Pots drip irrigation system on Amazon. So that is what I used when I first needed to extend even more than what I already have. So I had half of my garden with the Proven Winners last year, the other half with Carpathian, and this one is a little bit different. It's still similar enough where like once you know how to set one up, it's pretty straightforward how to set the rest up, but a few differences. So instead of just 1 tube like Proven Winners has, Carpathian is two different sizes. So like the main run of tube is a little bit larger, and then I think it's like a 1/4 versus an 1/8 of an inch. And then there's a smaller tube that connects to the emitters that run off of the main tube. So I think this one can probably go a little bit longer in the garden, stretch a little bit longer, because that main tube where the water flows through has a larger diameter. The other main difference are the emitters. So instead of, let me actually pull one of the Proven Winners out. So this is the Proven Winner emitter. It really is like a traditional drip kit. It sends out one drip at a time. You can't control like increasing the size of the drip or how quickly the drip runs. It just drips from this little plastic piece. So that's the emitter for Proven Winners. The emitter from Carpathian gives you a little bit more control. So when it's all the way closed, the top like it is now, no water will come out. And then if I give it a little twist, a little water will come out. And basically, the more I twist up, the more water comes out and at a larger range. So this can cover a lot more area a lot faster compared to the Proven Winners drip kit. So if I were to start completely from the beginning, which I'm still again trying to decide if I'm going to do that or not, I would use the Carpathian system in my raised beds so I'd have more coverage, and I would use the Proven Winners in my smaller pots that have maybe just 1 or 2 plants in them, so it's much more targeted, because that one I can put right at the roots. This one can spray and cover more area. Other kind of differences between the two, because this one sprays a lot more, I run it for less time. I think I had this set up to 3 minutes versus 20 minutes for the Proven Winners kit. I have also read though that a drip system more like Proven Winners is better because it slows down the absorption, so you're not losing as much water to run off throughout the container. Like this one, I used it in my herb pots last year as well as one of my raised beds, and the herb pots definitely had water coming out of the bottom. So like I said, I would use this one in larger areas and then the Proven Winners in smaller containers. So like I said, that's something I'm trying to figure out. If I'm going to completely redo my system, it's not like it's going to take a lot of time, so maybe I should just go ahead and do it. I think that would probably be the best option, but we'll kind of see where it goes. I am excited though to kind of start from scratch, knowing what I know now on the back deck, and getting that all set up in the best way possible, and then maybe I'll go ahead and redo the front deck. It's just that I already have like all the tubes cut to the right length, all the emitters, all of that already set up, so I'd kind of have to take it all apart. I don't know. We'll see how I feel as I start to get the plants out there. But like I said, I will show you how I set up my system for this year once all of my plants are in place, so probably like mid to end of May. I'll link down the videos below where I've already shown myself doing this in previous years, and I will link down everything below that I've mentioned. Let me know if there are drip kits that you use. Let me know if you were like me and kind of hesitant, and then once you actually set it up, you realized how easy it was. But this was the best decision I've made in my garden. Just the ease of watering and knowing that it's going to happen whether I am awake or here or not. So I would say go for it if it's something that you've been thinking about for your garden, and let me know if you do go ahead how it goes for you. Let me know if you have any other questions down below, but that's going to be everything for today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.